All right, let's talk about severe convective storms, or SES. You know, thunderstorms, massive hail, tornadoes. They're a huge, huge driver of insurance losses. Now, to price that risk, catastrophe models are absolutely essential. But bringing a new model into the mix, that can feel like a real leap of faith. So in this explainer, we're going to lay out a clear step-by-step roadmap to get you from that initial skepticism to confidently using a new SCS CAT model right in your pricing. Let's dive in.
And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. Just look at the first half of 2025. In the US alone, SCS activity caused over $33 billion in insured losses. When you are dealing with numbers that big, getting the price right isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely critical for survival.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? For a lot of people, a new CAT model just feels like this big black box. You pour your data in one side, a number comes out the other, but what's happening in the middle? How do you actually build the confidence to base massive pricing decisions on its output and then have to stand up and defend those decisions to regulators? Well, it takes a structured plan.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to use a framework we call the confidence climb. We'll start with the basic challenge and then work our way through 4 key levels: foundational, intermediate, established, and finally, advanced.
First up, let's just frame the challenge itself. Look, going from skepticism to a full-blown strategy isn't something that happens overnight. It's a methodical climb, and it needs buy-in from pretty much everyone in the company.
So here are the 4 key stages of that climb. We kick things off with the absolute basics in the foundational level, just vetting the vendor themselves. From there, we move to the intermediate level, where the focus really shifts inward to building confidence inside your own teams. Then comes the established level. This is where the model faces its toughest tests. And finally, the advanced level is where you reach the summit, and it becomes a true strategic asset.
Okay, let's start at base camp, the foundational level. Before you even peek at a single line of code or one piece of model output, the first, most crucial step is doing some serious due diligence on the vendor. Remember, you're not just buying a piece of software, you're really starting a long-term partnership. Trust in their business is the absolute bedrock for trusting their model.
And notice something here. These checks are way less about meteorology and way more about just sound business practices. This isn't just checking boxes. I mean, think about it. A financially shaky vendor could just disappear tomorrow, and poof, your whole pricing strategy is in chaos. You have to scrutinize their business plan, their financial stability, their data security. You need to make sure your potential partner is reliable, secure, and built for the long haul.
So once you have a partner you can actually trust, we can climb to level 2, building internal confidence. This is where you finally get your hands on the model, and this is critical, you start getting all the internal teams that will use it to collaborate.
A huge goal at this stage is to develop what's called a robust technical price. Now, this isn't just some abstract number. It is the model-driven calculation of what you should be charging for every single risk you write. A credible, well-understood technical price. That's the foundation for confident, data-driven decisions in underwriting and managing your whole portfolio. But here's the thing. A model is completely useless if it's stuck in a silo. Building real confidence is a team sport. That means you need active feedback loops between your pricing, underwriting, and reserving folks. And when their views on risk are different, and trust me, they will be, you need to write down exactly why. Crucially, the insights from pricing have to flow directly into your capital and reinsurance modeling so that the entire company is working from a single, unified view of risk.
All right, now for level 3, the validation gauntlet. This is, without a doubt, the most technically demanding part of the climb. This is where the model has to prove it's up to snuff for both your own internal governance and, of course, for the external regulators.
You can see on this slide, there are kind of 2 parallel tracks you have to go down. Internally, your own risk management team is going to demand independent backtesting and sensitivity analysis. At the same time, externally, the regulators are going to require all the formal paperwork and justification for your pricing. The key here is that a single, really robust process should be able to satisfy both, which makes your life a whole lot easier. And make no mistake, the regulators are dead serious about this. This quote here is straight from the California Department of Insurance, and it's crystal clear. You can't just switch models because you feel like it. You have to provide a detailed, documented explanation for why you're making a change. This just hammers home why that validation process is so critical. It's how you build the evidence you need for that justification.
So, what does a really great validation process even look like? Well, it means you're testing the model against new and emerging risks, you're really digging in to understand how sensitive your results are to your key assumptions, and you're actively looking at alternatives. But most importantly, the entire process, from what you find to what you're going to do about it, has to be documented meticulously. You need a clear summary for the board and all the deep dive technical docs for the teams on the ground.
And finally, we've reached the summit. Level 4, Advanced Strategic Integration. At this point, the model transforms from being just a simple tool into a proactive, strategic asset for the entire business.
And the difference here is night and day. In a less mature company, the model is often just seen as a cost center, a necessary evil you have to deal with to keep regulators happy. But in an advanced organization, that same model is a strategic asset. It's not just for the regulatory capital calculation, it's being actively used to guide a whole range of critical business decisions.
And this is the ultimate payoff for all that hard work. These are the high ROI use cases. A fully trusted, totally integrated model lets you fine-tune your underwriting appetite, optimize how you buy reinsurance, and actively steer your portfolio away from risks you don't want. It makes your loss estimates better when a storm actually hits, and it gives you concrete evidence for those big board-level decisions. The model is now generating real measurable value way beyond just the pricing team. So, as we wrap this up, it really leaves us with one fundamental question to think about. Take a hard look at how your own organization uses its catastrophe models. Are they just a tool to clear a regulatory hurdle, a box you have to check, or have you actually done the work to transform them into a true strategic weapon that gives you a competitive edge? The path is right there, but it does require a dedicated climb.